Good evening, everybody. So today I just thought that I would read a story. It's a short story, and it's called Rhinosaurs by Eugene Ionesco. The story talks about how it's like you have to go with the flow. You just have to do what everybody else does. Otherwise, you would be totally different. So it's like if everybody else goes mad, all you have to do is go mad. Otherwise, you would feel like you are a freak or an outsider. Rhinosaurs, Eugene Ionesco. We were sitting outside the cafe, my friend John and I peacefully talking about one thing and another, when we caught sight of it in the opposite pavement. Huge and powerful, panting noisily, charging straight ahead and brushing against market stalls. A rhinoceros. People in the street stepped hurriedly aside to let it pass. A housewife uttered a cry of terror. Her basket dropped from her hands. The wine from a broken bottle spread over the pavement. And some pedestrians, one of them an elderly man, rushed into the shops. It was all over like a flash of lightning. People emerged from their hiding places and gathered in groups, which watched the rhinoceros disappear into the distance, made some comments on the incident, and then dispersed. My all reactions are slowish. I absent mindedly took in the image of the rushing beast, without ascribing any very great importance to it. That morning, however, I was feeling tired, and my mouth was sour, as a result of the previous night's excesses. We had been celebrating a friend's birthday. John hadn't been at the party, and when the first moment of surprise was over, he exclaimed, "A rhinoceros at large in town? Doesn't that surprise you? It ought to not be allowed." "True," I said. "I hadn't thought of that. It's dangerous. We ought to protest to the town council." "Perhaps it's escaped from the zoo," I said. "You're dreaming," he replied. "There hasn't been a zoo in our town since the animals were decimated by that plague in the 17th century." "Perhaps it belongs to the circus." "What circus? The council has forbidden itinerant entertainers to stop on municipal territory. None have come here since we were children." "Perhaps it has lived here ever since, hidden in the marshy woods round about," I answered with a yawn. "You're completely lost in a dense alcoholic haze, which rises from the stomach, yes, and has pervaded your brain. What marshy woods can you think of around about here? Our province is so arid they call it Little Castile." "Perhaps it sheltered under a pebble. Perhaps it made its nest on a dry branch." "How tiresome you are with your paradoxes! You're quite incapable of talking seriously. Today and every day." "Don't lose your temper, my dear John. We're not going to quarrel about that creature." We changed the subject of our conversation and began to talk about the weather again, about the rain which fell so rarely in our region, about the need to provide our sky with artificial clouds, and other banal and insoluble questions. We parted. It was Sunday. I went to bed and slept all day. Another wasted Sunday. On Monday morning, I went to the office, making a solemn promise to myself never to get drunk again, and particularly not on Saturdays, so as not to spoil the following Sundays, for I had one single free day a week and 3 weeks holiday in the summer. And instead of drinking and making myself ill, wouldn't it be better to keep fit and healthy, to spend my precious moments of freedom in a more intelligent fashion, visiting museums, reading literary magazines, and listening to lectures? And instead of spending all my available money on drinks, would it be preferable to buy tickets for interesting plays? Now or never was the time to bring myself up to date.